Hello and welcome everybody. I hope I am audible. I'm not able to see the comment section, but I have my colleague favorite with me who will be there answering your questions. So at any point of time, if you have any questions, feel free to put them on the comment section. And if not me, my colleague will be there to address your questions and to answer your questions. But I hope everything is ready from my end and you can hear and see me. Cool. So, as we get started, let us maybe start with some ice breaking questions. Maybe you can answer where are you joining from and what is the time for you or what is the weather like. Like, I am joining in from India. I live in the northeastern part of India and it's almost 8 p.m. here. And the weather here is pretty hot and humid. But other than that, I'm doing good and I will start very soon. But if you have any questions, like I mentioned, make sure to put them here on the comments below. Or if I cannot answer it during the live stream, I maybe will be answering them afterwards offline on Twitter, on LinkedIn, or wherever you're putting them. So without any delay, let's get started. By the way, I just have one screen, so if you see too many screens or if you see me doing a lot of here and there, you would know that it's just me sharing one screen and going to the other tabs. So let's get started. I am pretty excited about this particular. Sorry, let me just say. Oops, what happened? Let me remove this. Okay, just give me a second for that. Just give me a second while I'm figuring out some things. But in the meantime, oh, it's finally here. Great. I was not able to find my tab, but now that we are here, so live streaming it means that. But I'm so glad I can see some of your comments. Hi Priyanka, hi Bia, hi Tejas, hi Abhishek, hi everybody. Thank you so much for joining. And now that we are here, so let's get started. I'll reshare my screen, and I'm so sorry for the hiccups, but this is what demo gods are there for. So let me start my screen, and I hope you can see my presentation. Well, this topic that we have here today, it's about creating a standout portfolio, and it's something that is very close to me because I'm sure that, like me, many of you have always contemplated of building a portfolio, but we never ended up doing it because we probably couldn't find the right time to do it, or maybe we wanted to over engineer it. Like, I wanted it to have a lot of animations and look really cool, which is why I kept postponing it until I ended up building my portfolio using just HTML and CSS. So I'll give you a quick look of how my current portfolio looks like. This is the blog section. It is powered by Hashnode. I'll show you how to build this part as well. But here's the home page, a very simple one with my face, a little bit about my bio, with some of the projects that I have. And then I also have this guest book part. This is a really cool extension that I recently built. So Vercel, they released the new version of V0, and I asked it to create an MS Paint version of me. And now you can basically come to my portfolio and start writing or drawing anything. So that's there. But for this scope, or for this video, what we'll basically do is we'll see how we can create a portfolio very similar to this using just HTML and Tailwind. And we'll also see how we can build this blog part. And for that, we will be using Hashnode. So uh, that's pretty much it for today. But before we get into the coding part, let's understand a bit. I could see some familiar faces or people I know from the tech Twitter or the tech industry in general. But for those of you who are seeing me for the first time, hi, it's me. I'm Hemantika Mitra. You can find me on Twitter or X with the username Hemantika M, or you can also find me on LinkedIn and any other platform with just this name. Perks of having a unique name, I guess. I work as a developer advocate at Hashnode, and I love building fun side projects. And you can find some of them here on my portfolio. Like, they are really fun projects. There's not much that to make out of it, but it's a really fun project that keeps me entertained and also helps me practice my coding skills. So that's about me. Since AI or Gen AI is in the trend, I had to jump the bandwagon, and I must say that I'm pretty much impressed. I love the AI world, or I love the the changes and the not discoveries, but the way that we are evolving in AI. I really love that, and I also love traveling. I travel very often, either either for trips or not as much as a devil, but mostly for trips. I love traveling, and since we are coding this time, so I wanted to include this my terminal introduction. So if I'm guessing you're all on your laptop, so open your terminal, and I also hope you have npm installed. Go in and type npx space hello hyphen hemantika, and you'll have a simple introduction about me. This code is also open source, so if you want to build something like that, you can just copy pasta it. That reminds me that we will be doing a lot of copy pasta today, so stay tuned. And I hope that by the end of this live stream you have a portfolio. And if you're not able to follow me through and through, I have written an article, a very detailed article on exactly what I'll show you in the next 30 to 40 minutes, so you can follow that as well. My colleague favorite will add these comments, these links for you, so you don't need to worry about that. Even if you do, I'll also post it from my links, and sorry, from my social media accounts, and also from Hashnode social media accounts, so you'll find that. Don't worry about it. Now, going back, let's get started. And before that, it's going to be a very simple, easy to follow webinar. And I'm not going to teach you something very hi-fi, something very deeply technical. Maybe we'll cover that in the next few episodes, but for now, let's keep it really simple. So this is term, right? KISS, which means keep it simple silly. So we'll just do that. And that reminds me that we recently launched our own docs product called Docs by Hashnode, and it's on private beta. So if you or your team is looking for a solution or a tool to build the documentation, you know where to direct them and ask them to sign up for access. The link will be again shared on YouTube, but you can also go to your browser, type hshno.de/docs. That will redirect you to our docs landing page from where you can sign up for access. Cool. And with that, I think we are ready to get started. The warm up and everything is done, and I'll get into more details about exactly what we are building. But let me tell you that since we are coding live, you might see me struggle, or there might be certain things that won't work out. So for that, I have this repository right here where I have the code, and this will also be sent to you, or you can also find this link on the articles, so you don't really have to worry about that. But at any point of time, if something doesn't work on my machine, you can always copy and paste the code that I have here on GitHub, and it will work on your machine as well. What I'll do is, maybe I'll zoom in a little bit so that it's clearer. And yes, let me give you a quick sneak peek of what we'll build. So this is what we will be kind of replicating, or maybe we can play around with more components. But I have this homepage here, I have this blog here, and then I have the project part here, and then I all the links are not working because I haven't added the links, but at least I can go to my LinkedIn profile, I know. So this is basically what we will be building, and I hope you will be having fun while we build, or while we struggle through the code. By the way, I will be really happy if you can follow and maybe build the portfolio during the time we are spending together. If not, I will, you still have the weekend. It's just Thursday, or Thursday almost ending if you're in India or similar regions like me. But we have Friday and we also have the weekend coming up. So I would really love if you could build your portfolios and maybe tweet at the red Hashnode, and also tweet me. It would be really great. So moving forward, what are we building today? I just showed you that we are building a very simple developer portfolio, and for that we will be using HTML, Tailwind, Hashnode, and we will be using Vercel for deploying. But how are we building it? The homepage that you just saw, it's built using HTML and Tailwind CSS, and the blog section that you saw, for that, we are using Hashnode in headless mode, and we will be deploying all of it using Vercel. So it has three parts. Part one is to build the home page using Tailwind, or we will be using some components. So using that, next we will be building the blog part using Hashnode's open source starter kit, and then we'll be finally deploying it using Vercel. So for anybody here who is hearing about Hashnode and headless for the first time, let me tell you what it is. In very simple terms, is you take care of the UI while Hashnode takes care of the backend. If you are a writer in Hashnode, you must have known that Hashnode started as a blogging platform where developers and even non-developers blog or share their experiences. And last year, at the end of last year, or let's say Q1 2024, we released Hashnode headless mode, or Hashnode in headless mode, which means that now you can also build blogs for yourself, like we will building one today, or blog for your companies, or it can be maybe blog for your own startups as well, but using the branding of your choice, while still continuing to use Hashnode goodness. Like Hashnode editor is something that is best in class. That reminds me that the Hashnode editor is now open, which means that you do not need to log in or sign up. You just go to the editor, and you can start writing or taking notes. And it's also marked on powered, so I hope that helps. And it's unlimited, so you don't really need to worry about the number of notes you're taking. Just write notes all the way. And now getting back to the topic of headless mode, so the UI is yours, but if you're not aware, Hashnode also has GraphQL APIs. Let me quickly show you how that would look like. Just type in Hashnode GraphQL API, and then you'll find our APIs. We have our API docs, and also a cool playground where you can try the APIs and run it and see the kind of the kind of output that it gives. So you can learn more about our API here. Now, moving forward, or just summing up what headless in or Hashnode in headless mode does, it's like you use all the Hashnode goodness, everything that you like, be it the blog dashboard, be it our editor, be it a feed, we give it all to you. But you have control over your own branding, and you can also host it on subdomains like slash blog, or also on a custom domain. Like if you notice that my dev portfolio or my blog is on a subpath slash blog, so you can do the same, and you can also read more about it in the article that I wrote. And I'll also be showing you some parts of it during this webinar. So if we are ready, I am ready as well. Let's get started. We are pretty much done with this presentation part. We'll just be coding and shuffling between the IDE and the browser. So I'll just cross this one up. But let me see how many of you here have heard about Tailwind. Anybody, you can put it down in the comment section, and I would be really glad if anybody already has experience in Tailwind. I started learning Tailwind this year, and I love it, and I have been using it for almost all my side projects so far. So we will be using Tailwind, and we'll also be using Flowbyte. I'm not sure how many of you has heard about it, but this is basically a Tailwind CSS component library. Since my aim today is to make sure that you build a portfolio during the scope, so we will be trying to make use of the resources that's already out there. So why not use a component library? Like I love this one. I've been using it for a lot of my projects and for a lot of things that I build. So I'm sure that you will love it too. Now let's get started. Okay, here. So this is a repository that I just made. It has no files, as you can see, just an empty README file. And let's begin coding. So the first step, since we are using Tailwind, so the first step will be to install Tailwind. And like I mentioned, we'll be doing a lot of copy paste or a lot of copy pasta. So let's start doing that. And we have the command commands to install Tailwind. I'll just do that, and I'll wait a few seconds for it to finish the installing part. And I hope you all can see my ID. I'll also zoom in a bit, maybe, or is it too zoom? No, I think this is good. Cool, we have installed it. Now we will, after we have done this, it will create a tailwind.config.js file. And into that we need to add the extensions or the path to all the files that we will include. Generally, for a very simple portfolio, we usually have HTML and JavaScript, or even for more complex things, these are, or a little bit complex things, we usually have HTML and JavaScript. So we'll just add it here. Wait, oops. I What happened? So did it, let me see. I saw that there is some permission denied. Hmm. Let me see what went wrong. Demagogues are here. I created a new repository, so let me maybe try cloning the repository again, and then let's try doing it. Oops. This is the one that we will do later. So let us open a new window. Did it open a new window for me? Yes, it did. Now let us open our terminal, and it's done. Let's keep this file on desktop. Okay, cool. We have it now. Let us open this one. I should have it somewhere here. Cool. We have it. Great. Now let us try installing again. Yes, I trust the author. It's me. Hmm. This is really weird. I have no clue what's happening, but let's not waste any more time and maybe just, oh, it's is it my, as bad as it gets, test portfolio. We can skip this one right now. Let's start with opening a new window again and then cloning it. CD, desktop, okay, so, okay, we have it. Now let us open this one again. I really hope this works out. I'm not sure why that didn't, because it's, I have no clue. It says that there is, hmm, maybe let me try with just one command at a time and see if that works out. Okay, one command at a time worked. No. Hmm. And let me see. Using the or no. This is how we do it. Or let me maybe just have do it. Sorry. Name tailwind.config.js. Let's see if that helps in any way. src and input.css. I have no clue, by the way, why that was happening. If any of you could know why that was happening, help me. Oh, this is still not working. Hmm. Well, that's a problem because I know this works, but let me. It says that something out there is in the bin, and it's sorry. It's weird because I'm not sure. Sorry, this is not the one. Hmm. Hmm. Uh, Let me try doing something else. Let's see if we can. Honestly, at this point, I don't know what we could do. It is installing Tailwind, right? What I'll do is maybe I will give right permission for the try using sudo to install the. This is really weird. This is what demagogues tell us about. But let me try doing this again. And it's not that but this will probably still create issues. Hmm. Let me see. No, my npm version is it should be good as well because I just did it in this morning, this afternoon. Sorry. Uh, Clear. Does anybody have? Honestly, at this point, I'm not sure how do we move ahead, but let me try doing something. But even if we do with Flowbyte or anything, we will still need Tailwind. Get started. Ah, please work. It keeps saying .bin, and I'm not very sure. Check out the data that you use for your site, but it might have right permission to the. Not sure. Or let me open my. Okay, never mind. What we will do is, since you can basically follow the documentation to install Tailwind locally. So without wasting any time, what we'll do is, I not this one. Sorry, this is a different folder. But let me open the folder where I have the code to the portfolio link that I just shared. And what I'll do is I'll run it locally just to show you how it looks. And from there, we'll do it from scratch. And I hope that works. This is what demagogues are for. And this is why I mentioned that the repository is there, and also there is the article that you can follow. But let's keep the show running. So this is what it looks like right now in localhost. And this is like I have already built the portfolio. But for now, what, like, basically, if you have to, let's go ahead to the next step, which is to install Flowbyte. So I'll just do a little, I'll go back a bit. So you need to make sure that Flowbyte is there, and you need to install it using the command npm install Flowbyte. And then you need to go back to your tailwind.config.js file, and here you need to mention that you need to require, or you need to add this line. Basically, it's all there in the, it's all there here in the installation guide. And finally, you need to add this JavaScript code that is powering the interactive elements before the end of the body tag. So anywhere before the end of the body tag, just make sure that you are putting this. For me, it to look better to me, what I usually do is, like, I just keep it here within the head. It totally depends on where you want to keep it. So let's keep everything at one place, or in, sorry, or in, one tab basically. And this is what it is looking like in localhost right now. What we will do is I will delete all the code that I have here, and just to show you from beginning how to do it basically. And I will just end the body tag here with maybe a hi, and you can see that a hi shows up. Cool. So let me go to my favorite drawing tool. This is Excalibur. So this is the kind of portfolio that I am imagining that I will have. So it will include my image, my name, and then it will have header including three items, which is basically home, blog, and projects. The home, like, we'll keep it one pager for now, and the other page that we will have, it will link to our headless open source starter kit. And then we will be designing the home part, which will include some parts about me. And then we will include the project part, which will include one or two projects from my list. And then finally, we will have a footer part that you can use to add your socials, or you can also use to add your resume. So this is how the structure or the portfolio that we will be building right now will look like. So like I mentioned, we will be doing a lot of copy and paste. So let's go back to our content or component library, which is Flowbyte, and let's look for headers, or maybe headings. Any, even headers for marketing works. So you'll see that it has this header like here, which is very minimal and looks nice. And I believe that we can do some changes here and there to make it look as per our drawing here. So let's go back to the code, and let's remove the hi, and then let's add it here. Now let's go back to the localhost part and see how it looks. Well, it has a lot of these home, services, pricing, and contact part. We do not want all of these. All that we want is our home page, our blog page, and then we want our projects page. So we do not want the contact page right here. Just remove it, just delete it, and you see that we have home, blog, and projects. And now this is the Flowbyte logo. Since we are building this portfolio for ourselves, we need to include our image. So let's go to Tailwind here, and let's see what does it have for image. So it has an avatar created for you. You can, so that there's a lot of them that's here. Choose whatever is good for you. You can, I really like this first one, the circular one, so I'll go ahead with this. And then what I'll do is I'll just go and copy pasta it here, where you'll find the image class for Flowbyte. Let me just do a quick Control F. Cool. I found it right here, and we have it here. So the image that I have, it's located in within the within the source directory, but in an image folder, and it's called hm.jpg. So sorry. So let's go back and see. Okay, my image has been updated. By the way, this image is it's really huge, which is why you see it coming up in this manner. But I hope you'll have smaller images, or you can use any online tool to resize it. But for the interest of time, let us keep it as it is and then go ahead and make some changes. Here, instead of Flowbite, this is me. So I'll write my name, Hemantika Mitra. And here, okay, it's right here. And you can also like hear this as when you're clicking on this image or something, it would probably lead you to you want it to lead it to your portfolio or maybe to your LinkedIn profile. So you can just go ahead and do that. What I'll do is I'll go and link my LinkedIn profile here, and I will add it here. So whenever somebody clicks on my image, they can be redirected to my LinkedIn profile. So that's another change that we made. Now that we are done with that part, so what is the next thing that we want to do? Let's go back to a drawing on Excaliture. We have a section, or the body section, where we are adding a little bit of bio about us, or we are writing some content about us. So for that, let us go ahead and create the main section. We are here, so let's write something. Oops. We write main class equals to hmm, by the way, I don't know. This is this is something that I didn't write. Oops. This is something that let me see how does it look right now. This is something that GitHub Copilot is writing for me. Not bad, not bad, but let's see if we can maybe change certain parts. Like, okay, I instead of this, I want it to be for Excel, and auto is fine, and I want it to be flex column. By the way, whatever we are writing right now, this is just some basic Tailwind, so you can always go ahead and read about it from the Tailwind talks. And now let us also add a section, because this section part is what will, like, whenever we are clicking on home, we would want it to redirect to this page. Like it. Oops, I shouldn't just click tab so much and let it and use my own code. So I'll just write it as home. So just make sure that here above you are also updating it to home, so that whenever you're clicking, this is the section that shows up. The class is flex well column. Then let's do something that how much do we want it to come? Fine. Then let's put the padding as 20, and items are center, and I think we can remove this part. We don't want it that way. Cool. So that's there. Now let us add some headings. So let's go back to Flowbite, and you see that it does have a lot of heading options that you can choose from. So from the demo that I showed, this is the heading that I chose. So you can as well copy the code and paste it in this section. Also make sure to end the section. So let's go back and see how this looks like. Okay, so it has some parts, and let's update it according to who we are. Like I mentioned that I am a journalist. A journalist is basically somebody who is a jack of all trades and master of none, I guess, or somebody who has knowledge about multiple things, if I had to put it that way. And developer advocate. Cool, cool, cool. Oh, shouldn't just do that. Okay. And here from bio, what I'll do is I'll probably copy and paste it from my existing portfolio. Since you are writing this part, like what I really suggest that whenever somebody is reading or coming across your portfolio, they read this part a lot. So make sure that you keep it small and you also keep it engaging for them, so it's not, it's not very, what, like it's not overwhelming, but at the same time it also tells a lot about you. So we do that part here, and that's it. What I'll do here is I'll just mention it as well, just to make it look a bit better. But let me do a developer advocate at Hashnode, and we should be good. Oh, that's opening up a lot. Okay, that's fine. So the next thing that we want is to add some project paths to our portfolio. So since you're a developer, some of the things that really matters is who you are, what your unique skills are, and what are some of the projects that you have created. So let's go ahead and create these project parts. What I'll do is I will copy and paste this part because we are creating another section, but this section is for our projects. Now let's go up. So this is, I guess this is for a blog if I'm not wrong. Cool. And here let us update it as projects. Great. Let me see if I do home. Okay, there's nothing in projects, so it's not showing up. Now, since this is our project parts and we want it to come up in sections like this, let us use the card component from Flowbyte. So we'll do another search and we'll go to Tailwind or Flowbyte cards, and you can choose anything that you like from here. I really like the second one because here I can have a title, I can have some, some body elements about what my project is, and then I can also have a button with a link that redirects to my project. So for that scenario, or for that case, I'll just use this one. Now let's make, let's beautify the structure of it. Okay, so we have this one here, and before I close the, before I finish, let me make sure that I close the section. So let's add two projects, for example. Oops, one project is done, and let us add two projects and see how they look like. Not the best. We can add some some padding and everything, but for now let's do this part, which is where we'll update our projects or add some about what our project is about. So I'll copy the first two projects. So let's go to my project one, and then the name to that is this track. So I'll just do that, and I'll add a little bit of bio about what it is, and we should be good. And the next one that I want is melody matcher. By the way, I'll add the links, I remember that part. So let's go ahead and finish this parts first. This is melody matcher. I'll just do that. So I'll just copy this link here, and here instead of read more, I'll just write it as try it out and I'll add the link here. Going back, I'll also copy this one, and we will write try it out, and we'll add the link here. So now for this demo, let's just keep it to two projects. And the next part that we want to add is a footer. So the final section for that is to add a footer. Make sure that your main section, you are closing your main section here. So why is this part? Yes. We're closing the main section, and now the final part that we want in this page is a footer. Going back to our component library, let's look for some footers that we can choose. A really simple one. I think we can go ahead with this one, and we can change it as we keep moving ahead. So, okay, it's right here. We don't need a lot of buds. By the way, let me just do one quick thing, that is, let me just run this. Okay, so some of the designs that you see are not updating. It it also could be, or if you see that it's not as how it is looking now, even if the content is exactly what it is here, it could be because we are not updating the styles. So but if my npm command would have run, I would have done that, and it would start the build process, and it would load the components in real time. So that would have been better, but I need to figure out what's happening with npm. Now let's go back to building the footer. So let's see, what do we have here? I don't need this one. I don't need this copyright part. It's just me. So what I'll do is, let me find, where is this part. Here, I'll I'll just remove this. And now we have about, so we don't need about. What we Some of the parts that we need is link it, and then we can keep maybe Twitter. I'm sorry, I'll still call it Twitter, but or maybe just do X and call it Twitter. And what else do we have? Oh, I have, how can I forget about GitHub, and then you can add your resume. So you can either add your Google Drive link, or if you're, maybe you can also add a Notion link, or whatever you are using to upload your resume, you can add that link here. For now, let's keep it as it is, and then let's go ahead and add our LinkedIn profile. I know I have my LinkedIn profile right here, so I'll just copy it from here, and I will paste it here. The next thing that I want is to copy my Twitter profile. So here I go, and the final thing that I want is to copy and paste my GitHub profile. Cool. So that's it. And now if I am clicking on these links, it is redirecting me to my profile. So which means that we have indeed completed the first part, which is to have the home page. Now we will move on to the next part, which is to create the blog part. But like I mentioned, that all the code that I'm writing here, you'll find it on this GitHub repository. So if you want to build something similar, you can just copy and paste it, but feel free to make it look more interactive and more different. And you can use a Flowbyte component library, or something that I personally like is Daisy UI components. So you can also use Daisy UI to make it look prettier, and you will find everything like how to install and all of it. But you need to make sure that you at least have Tailwind installed, and not npm not working. So that's the part about where we have created the homepage. Now let's, I know most of you already know how to deploy a project on Vercel, but what I intended to show this here, right here, during this live stream, but since I was not able to add the code in the repos that I just showed, so what I'll do is, I'll just maybe guide you through the steps so you can just follow the same and deploy it on Vercel and then take it live. Like my project here is live on a domain called Vercel.app. What I really suggest is, if you have the resources, try and buy a domain, maybe something like your name.dev or .com. If it's not very expensive, or if you have the resources, buy that. Else have some name that maybe Himantika portfolio.versal.app, and any link of any form is great. So what I'll do is, I'll take 2 minutes just to explain to you how you can deploy it using Vercel if you are using Vercel for the first time. As you can see, that I'm definitely not using it for the first time. I have a lot of projects, but if you're using it for the first time, this place will be empty. You need to log in, you need to sign up, and you'll see an empty page. But you'll see this button called Add New, and you need to add a new project. And you also need to connect your GitHub. Since we're using GitHub, I'm guessing you'll also be using GitHub to store your code, or you can also use other provide Git providers. And then you can choose any repository of your choice. Since there's still not any code, but what I'll do is, I'll just for demo, I'll show you. I'll import it here, and then here we would need to change the directory, because if you remember that all our code is within the src directory, and Vercel will show you all the directories that you have. So just select src and just click on deploy, and you will see a result like this. If you're following through so far, I will be really surprised to see if you have already built something like this. If you have done it already, maybe share it to me on Twitter. I already see there are around 10 notifications right now, but I would like to see if you have built something while we were together for the last 40-45 minutes. So that would be really interesting. Now, coming to the part where we will show you how to build the blog part, or how to build this part basically. And for that, we will be using Hashnode starter kit. All the links will be here on the article, or my colleague has already probably sent you the links in the comment section, so feel free to comment on that and check out this starter kit. I talked in length about our headless mode. So now what we have, or what our team has built, is a starter kit that is built using Next.js and Tailwind. And using that, you can get started very quickly, and you can have all your blogs show up on your path, which is slash blog. So what we'll do is, like, have it already forked, and as I had showed you on hemantika.dev/blog, like this is what I'm using the starter kit from, and these are all the blogs that I've written on Hashnode, and it's being fetched here in real time. So once you have cloned it, once you have forked it, and you have it on your favorite IDE of choice, oops, we are pretty much done with this part. So what I'll do is, I'll minimize this, but let me open the starter kit. Yes, the starter kit here. So what need to do is, I need to cd like cd dot a lot, and I'll explain to you why I'm doing this. Okay, so now we are back to our main, our this is what, whenever after you have cloned the repository, this is what you will see. Now let's read a little bit about the starter kit. This has three themes. Like, the theme, my portfolio is on personal theme, even Sandeep's portfolio is on personal theme. And if you want to use something, like, we have other two themes, that is the enterprise theme. Our blog, where I have written this blog about this webinar, is on the enterprise theme. And we also have the Hashnode theme. So this is not much different to how your Hashnode blog probably looks like right now. And the best part is, what I mentioned about the blog starter kit is that once you have cloned it, once you have added your env files and everything, you can make changes to the Tailwind CSS, or you can make changes to the to the components, and then get started from there. So what we'll do is, and it's also a monorepo structure. So from this part, if you like any theme, let's say if you like the enterprise theme, or if you like the Hashnode theme or the personal theme, you need to get inside the directory. So what we'll do is, which is why I was going out of the directory, because I was already in the enterprise directory. So what we'll do right now is we will do a cd into packages. And if you don't want to expand and see, you can always do an ls. But let's see what else is there. We have a blog starter kit, then if I'm not wrong, we have themes, we do. And now the one that we are using is the enterprise theme. So this is what the enterprise theme looks like. And for you to get started, you need to do pnpm install. But since I have already written the code here, so what I'll do is I'll show you maybe in the Hashnode theme. So let's do a cd into Hashnode. Now let's go into the directory structure, and you see that there is this within Hashnode, you'll see that we have a .env.example file. Copy the contents from here, and now create a new file called .env, and then you need to paste it here. The graphical endpoint will remain the same. The mode can be production when you are ready to go live with it. For now, let's keep it as development. And the publication host is the main thing that you need to update. So for that, you need to go to your, or you need to sign in or log in to Hashnode, and this is the publication name for your, or the publication or your Hashnode publication name. Like for me, it's hemantika.dev. It's already running in headless mode, so maybe I'll use another account that I have. It's hemantika m.hashnode.dev, if I'm not wrong. Great. I'll clear the terminal a bit, and then I will install all the packages that's required, and I will do an npm run dev with the hope that it works. It should work in my, okay, localhost 3002. I guess it's my internet. It's slow. Cool. So these are the two articles or the two blogs that I have, that that is basically showing up. Like this is, I mentioned to you that I have two accounts. So this is how you can simply use Hashnode, so starter kit or the theme that we have here, and then just keep it rolling. Or if you're satisfied with this one, you can just keep it as it is and then go ahead with the deploying part. But let's try to make some changes maybe. So if you go here, you'll see that we have a lot of components. Like we have the header component, sorry, the header component, we have the footer component as well. So you see that there is the header components that we have. And let's say you don't want this sign up button to come up. So what we'll do is you can edit the sign up button to, you can edit the sign up button to something like your name, and then you can probably link it to your portfolio that we just built. And whenever it's going, you see that you can redirect it. And this is just a very simple example of how you can make the changes. I'm not making much changes just for the interest of time. And it's all in, like I mentioned, it's in Next.js and it's in Tailwind. What you can do is, like, we have a lot of components here. You can go ahead and you can change the styles as well. If you want, you can change the css, like you can change the color. Or if you want to change the hover color or the button color, you can go ahead and do all of these from here. So let's try to maybe change the primary color to red. And you see that the primary color has changed to red. If you want to, so this is just an example of how you can make some changes to the color, how you can make some changes to the components as well. So since we have built this portfolio right here, so this is a task for you. Like, use this header and use this footer and then update the code on Hashnode starter kit to have the exact same header and footer as your header and footer for the blog. And that can be very simple and nice assignment for you to do, something that I look forward to. But as I showed you right now, like you can easily make these small changes. And not just this, I have also showed you our GraphQL API. So if you want to do more, let's say you want to show the number of views on your blogs, or you want to show the tags on your blog as well. So you can play around with our APIs and endpoints. You can add it to to a starter kit and do so much more. So that's up to your imagination, or up to how you want your portfolio to look like. But to wrap this one up, what I'll show you and what is the most important part is I'll go back to Vercel again. And here, like I already have this starter kit cloned here that's running somewhere. So let me show you how, after you have deployed it, I'll show you the deploying steps, by the way. So if you see this 404 page, don't worry about it, because we want it to show up on a we want it to show up on a subpath slash blog. So if you see that, don't worry about that. But if you're somebody who wants to host your if you're somebody who wants to host this portfolio on your own domain, so then you don't need to worry about this subpath and anything as such. So what I'll do is I'll go to the settings part, because this is something that is important. Like, for now the root directory is enterprise, but we have been using the Hashnode theme. So this is something that I'm showing you in the settings page, but whenever you are deploying the starter kit for the first time on Hashnode, you will see it while you are getting, or while you're starting a new project. And you'll find all the steps for to that here on a repository, and also on the article that I wrote. Like I mentioned, it's a monorepo structure, so you need to go inside the theme. And if you have already deployed it, or if you want to change the theme, you can also go to the root directory here, and then you can also change the theme. So this is one part. And the most important part that I wanted to show you is, whenever, so before you click on the deploy button that I just showed, you need to add the environment variables, the same ones that we added here on our code. So you need to add those here. The mode can be on production, and just one thing extra that you need to add is this, which is the next public base URL. And you need, if you are hosting it on a subpath, then you need to do that on slash blog. And once you have done all of it, like I showed, that it will probably show you a 404 error, but you just need to go ahead and type slash blog, and it will show up. Now the part where it becomes a bit different for us, because we're using HTML and CSS, is that you can, to host on a subpath, and if you're using Next.js, you can just go to Vercel and you can rewrite the config.js file and just paste this one here. But since we are using HTML and CSS, we will need to go through the Cloudflare route, and that is not very hard. I have mentioned all of that here, so I'll just read through it so that it becomes a bit easier for you. Cool. We have this here. So once you have done that, you will need to sign up, or you will need to log in. Sorry, this is not it. You will need to log into Cloudflare. Let me just log into Cloudflare and show you how that would look like. Okay, we are almost on time as well. And here, then need to go to workers and pages. Like I have this worker here. This is what is pulling my, this is where the magic all happens. So let's go back to our Cloudflare workers, and then you need to click on create here, and then you can just create a worker here. Now this is a part where you will get confused if you are just following the readme. You're like, oh, but I cannot make changes. So just go ahead with deploy. I have, sorry, not this one, neither this one, but I have mentioned this here as well. So once you have clicked on deploy, you have an option to edit the code. So go ahead on edit the code and then copy paste this one, and this is where you will copy and paste it, and this is where you will need to change or update your blog's base URL. Like for me, my blog's base URL is demo hyphen portfolio hyphen livestream.vercel.app. So you need to copy and you need to paste that one here, and then you need to click on deploy. And even after that, there are chances that you won't be able to see it on your domain.com or .dev/blog. So for that, the last stage that you need to do is you need to add a worker route, and it should be on this star, and the worker should be the script that we just created. And this is how you need to add the route, as I have added the screenshot here. And then also one thing to note, that even though you have your domain here on Vercel, or make sure that it is also registered on, or you are moving it over to Cloudflare and have it all under Cloudflare. That is when you will get the desired result. That, like for me, and one thing that I'm missing is, as the final step, what you need to do is you need to go to hashnode.com and you need to go to your dashboard, and from there scroll down, go to the domain page. And this is where, like, I have enabled it, so I see the disable option, but you will need to enable the headless mode here. You will need to add the URL where you want the blog to show up, update, and then finally when you stitch it all together, you will have a portfolio that will look beautiful and look very similar to mine right here, like just with different UI, and it basically with a different design. And with that, I hope you learned something out of it. I had a lot of fun live coding and also facing through demo gods where my Tailwind CSS wasn't installing. But I hope you had some fun, you learned something new. And with that, I'll call it a close. I have all the links. I hope you have access to all the links. If not, I'll update them on the description. I'm sure that Favorite has also added it on the comments. I'll also add it on Hashroom's Twitter account and my Twitter account, so you can get all the required links. With that, I wrap up today's webinar, or the first webinar series of Hashnode. If you have anything that you would want to see from us in the next videos or in the next series, feel free to put them on the comments below, or you can also put them on our Discord channel, or you can also maybe tweet it out. Our team is very active on Hashnode, sorry, on Discord and on Twitter. And with that, call it a webinar, or I'll call it a day, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for sticking with me throughout, and I really appreciate it. Bye.